The Secretary of State and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Romania are now signing an agreement between the United States of America and Romania on the deployment of the United States ballistic missile defense system in Romania. Well, good morning, everyone, and I am very pleased to welcome the Foreign Minister here back to the State Department as we celebrate another important milestone in the long history of cooperation and friendship between our two countries. Thanks to the diligent work of our negotiating teams and the personal commitment of President Băsescu and President Obama, the Foreign Minister and I have just signed the U.S.-Romanian Ballistic Missile Defense Agreement. This represents a critical step in implementing the phased adaptive approach to missile defense in Europe. The proliferation of ballistic missiles that are more lethal, more accurate, and can cover greater distances poses a growing threat to the people and security of both Europe and the United States. Our governments work closely together to select Deveselu Air Base in Romania to host a ballistic missile defense system, and the agreement we have just signed will position Romania as a central player in NATO's evolving missile defense capability. Once the agreement is ratified, the United States will build, maintain, and operate in Romania the land-based Aegis ballistic missile defense system, a system we have assiduously tested and have proven effective over the last decade, and which will help protect the entire continent and augment the security of the United States. With the support of the Romanian Parliament and people, we anticipate deploying the completed system as part of the second phase of European missile defense in approximately 4 years. This agreement reflects the commitment of the United States to our allies in NATO, and specifically to our Article 5 responsibilities for collective defense. On Sunday, we marked the 10th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. The day after those attacks, for the first time in its history, NATO invoked Article 5 for collective security. 10 years later, we still remember that commitment and solidarity and how our allies did not hesitate to stand by our side in our time of need. With the agreement the Foreign Minister and I signed today, we again strengthen our resolve and our promise to protect each other in very concrete ways. Romania has been a strong partner in NATO's actions around the globe, from peacekeeping in Kosovo to enforcing the arms embargo in Libya. And we honor the commitment and sacrifice of Romanian soldiers who serve alongside American troops in Afghanistan. Now, there are many areas where Romania and the United States collaborate. Before this ceremony, the Foreign Minister and I had a wide-ranging discussion covering the full depth and scope of our bilateral relationship, from promoting government transparency to creating free market opportunities worldwide. And I want particularly to thank Romania for its work supporting emerging democracies as well. Drawing on the lessons of its own recent history, Romania has offered valuable guidance and expertise to countries that are working to build sustainable, democratic governments and improve the lives of their citizens. Finally, I want to congratulate the Foreign Minister and the President on achieving the joint declaration on strategic partnership between Romania and the United States. This declaration further solidifies our key regional cooperation and marks another milestone in our relationship. Teodor, I look forward to continuing to build the bonds of friendship with the Romanian people and government as we have done for more than 130 years. Neither of us were around at the beginning, but I hope we're around for many years to come as we see Romania assume even greater responsibilities on the world stage through the European institutions, the United Nations, and forums such as the Community of Democracies. And with this missile agreement, we are jointly building a safer, more secure future for us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Secretary Clinton, dear Hillary, for the warm welcome. Our visit to the United States occurs 2 days after the entire world commemorated in deep sympathy with the American people the horrible terrorist attacks of 9/11. We stand by you as we have always done. The wind of change in the Arab world demonstrates that democracy is worth fighting for, and once gained, it must be jealously protected. As a member of the free world and as a strategic partner of the United States, Romania is determined to participate in the effort towards global security. President Traian Băsescu's visit to Washington confirms this common approach to global security, and the signature today of this agreement, which is one of the focal points of this visit, expresses our commitment most eloquently. It also sets a new stage in our relation, confirming that our strategic partnership has broadened and deepened. The provisions of the agreement allowed for the establishment of the territory, on the territory of Romania, of elements of the US-European phased adaptive approach to missile defense. This is an integral part of the effort to implement the decision NATO took last November in Lisbon. In this context, the Romanian air base at Deveselu represents an extremely valuable contribution to that NATO and, for the time being, bilateral program. I am also happy to hail the adoption of the joint declaration on the strategic partnership for the 21st century, which was just issued. This is a concrete, outstanding result of the meeting of our two presidents had this morning. It confirms our excellent long-term and ever-developing partnership. It also sets the pillars of our relation: political dialogue, which is excellent, security, economy, people-to-people contacts, science and technology, research, education and culture. Indeed, substantive trust in the bilateral relation is an incentive for trade and investment, more American investments on the Romanian market, which is very much investment-oriented. It is so, therefore, our wish to pursue deeper and broader this kind of cooperation in any bilateral register, and we shouldn't be afraid when we assist to this turbulent contemporary world. We have, due to our strategic partnership, enough opportunities to put more substance in our economic exchanges and cultural mobility. I am confident that endorsement by President Obama of co-sponsored legislation modifying the criteria for the visa waiver program shall trigger rapid inclusion of strong allies like Romania in this program, which is designed to help to encourage much more people-to-people contact between our nations. So, dear Hillary, we are modestly making history today. I'm very much impressed and honored to be here. at the State Department, and I congratulate all those who have hardly worked for this successful agreement between our two nations. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We have time for 2 questions. The first goes to BBC, Kim Gans.
Good morning. Madam Secretary, I want to turn your attention to the Middle East if possible. Beyond pleading with the Palestinians not to go to the UN with a bid for statehood, what are your envoys, Dennis Ross and David Hale, able to offer the Palestinians at this stage, either on behalf of the United States or on behalf of the Israelis, if they've had any interesting discussions with the Israelis, to try to convince the Palestinians not to go forward with their plans to go to the UN? And following up on that, has the United States considered that a veto at the UN Security Council or a no vote at the General Assembly under these circumstances would be more damaging than an abstention?
Well, Kim, let's look first at the big picture, because clearly you raise a number of important issues, all of which we are focused on intently. But we need an environment that is conducive to direct negotiations. We all know that no matter what happens or doesn't happen at the UN, the next day is not going to result in the kind of changes that the United States wishes to see that will move us toward the two-state solution that we strongly support. The only way of getting a lasting solution is through direct negotiations between the parties, and the route to that lies in Jerusalem and Ramallah, not in New York. So instead, we are redoubling our efforts with not only both sides, but with a broad cross-section of the international community to create a sustainable platform for negotiations that can produce the two-state outcome that we seek within the framework that President Obama laid out in his speech last May. So we are working very hard at all levels on this. I recently have spoken with President Abbas, with High Representative Cathy Ashton, with Quartet Representative Tony Blair. I'm sending David Hale and Dennis Ross back to the region in the next days to meet with both Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Abbas. And I think the issue is not simply that action in New York will not bring peace and stability, but it will create more distractions toward achieving that goal, which is certainly the commitment of the Obama administration. And so we have to keep our eye on what the objective truly is. That's the point we're making to everyone. I'm not going to comment on what we see developing, because I think that is going to require even more diplomacy over the next week. But our hope is that we get the parties back into a frame of mind and a process where they will actually begin negotiating again.
And I want to follow up on a veto versus an abstention.
Kim, we've made our views known on that.
And last question from Mirella Baralescu at your press.
Good morning. I have a question for both of you. First is for the Secretary of State. The security cooperation between our countries, it's at a high level right now, but Romanian citizens are unhappy with the way in which visas are granted. You believe that there will be a solution to this problem in the near future?
I want to tell the people of Romania I'm unhappy about the way the visa system operates. And the foreign minister and I discussed at length our hope in the Obama administration to bring about changes in the congressional laws which determine how the visa system is run and who qualifies for visa waiver. You are not the only country that I feel very strongly about trying to change the criteria. Our Polish friends feel exactly the same way. So, as the minister said, we are working in our administration to present legislation that would create a change in criteria that would enable us to have greater interactions between Americans and Romanians. Until we get that change, because if I could sign a document I would, but I have to go through the Congress, we're going to be working closely with Romania to make sure that we provide whatever technical assistance is needed to try to improve the process in Romania. So we at least get as many people visas, and we move closer toward the existing targets on visa waiver.
Thank you. Second is for Mr.
Yeah, she has a question for the minister.
Mr. Baconschi. We speak today about a new stage in the relationship between Romania and the United States. But how these things can be reflected in our economic cooperation?
Well, as you might know, the United States is already one of the most important foreign investors in our economy, and we are looking forward to increase the volume of these, including already decided new IBM plant to be created in Romania, which is supposed to generate something like 3,000 jobs, new jobs. So we are very, because we have this very coherent political dialogue in energy security, in strategic affairs, in transatlantic files, and in the NATO framework, etc., we are supposed to send the right message to the business milieu here in the United States. We have enough political trust, we know each other very well, and we would like to see much more American enterprises investing in Romania. Yes.
We would too. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So.